The first injury report of week 4 for the Green Bay Packers, where they head to Dallas to take on the Cowboys Sunday Night Football, just came out minutes ago, and it's a pretty lengthy injury report with a ton of different injury updates that we've been waiting for from injuries that happened in that week 3 game versus the Browns. So let's dive down into this injury report, take a look at all the players listed for the Green Bay Packers, then look at the Dallas Cowboys injury report and break it all down for the upcoming week 4 matchup. To stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers, from injury updates, analysis, tape breakdown, game watch parties, go down and hit the subscribe button, and you'll be able to stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers this season. All right, so let's dive down into this thing, bringing the injury report up on the screen for you guys. As you can see, it's a lengthy report. So let's quickly just go down the entire report first, and then we'll kind of dive into each player. So Aaron Banks, groin injury, is a did not participate. Anthony Belton, ankle injury, limited. Carl Brooks, foot injury, limited. Javon Bullard, concussion, did not participate. John Fitzpatrick, groin injury, limited. Nate Hobbs, knee injury, full. Josh Jacobs, ankle injury, limited. Tucker Kraft, knee/elbow, limited. Jordan Love, full with the left thumb injury. Bo Melton, shoulder injury, full. Micah Parsons, back injury, limited. Zach Tom, oblique injury, did not participate. Rasheed Walker, quadricep, limited. And Devonte, Wyatt, knee injury, limited. Man, that is a lengthy list that includes a lot of offensive linemen and overall just a lot of starters on this football team. So first, let's go over the 3 players that did not participate in today's practice. Aaron Banks, groin injury, did not participate. We saw him check out of that Cleveland Browns game at some point. I think he did end up returning. Obviously, Jordan Morgan went in at left guard at some points in that game, didn't have a good game overall. Aaron Banks has simply just not been able to stay healthy, and even when healthy, he hasn't looked the best at that left guard position. A lot of people, questioned this signing going in. Now, it's only through the first 3 weeks. Obviously, I think when he gets fully healthy, he can be a much better of a player. It's just he hasn't been able to get healthy. Tomorrow and Friday will obviously be big for him. If he can get any type of practice, limited Thursday or Friday, it bodes well for him being able to play in this game. If he's not able to go in this game, I hope they put Jordan Morgan at left guard. I know he had a bad game last game, but that was stretched between multiple positions. I just don't think they should put Jordan Morgan at right tackle. Javon Bullard did not participate with a concussion. We saw him collide with Quay Walker late in that Browns game. Looked pretty bad. It is classified as a concussion, did not participate, meaning he didn't clear concussion protocol yet. Now he'll have all week up until Saturday to clear protocol. So if we start to see limited tomorrow or Friday, maybe he'll be cleared by Sunday. But with the bye week coming up after this game, I feel like a lot of the players on this list, the Packers, if they have any doubts, they'll just likely hold them out, because they didn't do that last week with Zach Tom, and that's exactly the worst case scenario that happened. And we see Zach Tom re-injured the oblique. He was a did not participate today, and the report came out that Zach Tom is not expected to play Sunday night versus the Cowboys due to the oblique injury he suffered in a loss at Cleveland, per source. And this makes a lot of sense. It seemed that the Packers never should have put him out there. He got injured on the very first play. Even if it didn't happen on the first play, he likely would have been injured in that game, considering how easily it did re-injure. Now, the reports early came out that it's not worse than it was. Like, he didn't make it worse. It just re-injured, and he's kind of back to where he was, a couple weeks ago or last week. So obviously Zach Tom's going to be out this Sunday. Then we have a bye week. So he has a few weeks to get healthy here, which is really good. Hopefully he can then return week 6 against the Cincinnati Bengals. But to see also Rasheed Walker on here, limited. He didn't have a good game. Obviously it's against Myles Garrett. That's kind of hard to have a good game against. Quadricep injury, limited. So we have Zach Tom and Aaron Banks did not participate. Rasheed Walker and Anthony Belton both limited. Man, it makes a lot of sense why the Packers went and signed Brant Banks to their active roster yesterday, and minutes ago signed Lecitus Smith to their practice squad, who has been with the Packers for 2 straight off seasons. Packers adding Brant Banks makes a lot of sense. He'll likely, be a depth tackle going into this game with Zach Tom out. But I think going into this game, you have to put Darian Kinnard at right tackle. Him or Anthony Belton It can't be Jordan Morgan. Now, this is a lot different of a front that they're going to be playing against with the Dallas Cowboys. It's no Cleveland Browns. It's one of the worst fronts in terms of pass rush in the NFL, and it's just a poor defense. So luckily going into this game, if they are without Aaron Banks, and then they will be without Zach Tom, this is something that I think they'll be able to handle and hopefully have a good bounce back on that offensive line. Some of the other limiteds, Carl Brooks, a foot injury. Again, a lot of these guys that are limited today will be available for the Sunday Night Football game. John Fitzpatrick, Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft. It's nice to see limited here for Tucker Kraft, who ended up playing in that game. I didn't expect it, but he did. But he did pick up an elbow injury here on this report. But it's nice to see limited today. Bodes well for him being available on Sunday night. Jordan Love is full. I thought he'd be removed off the report. Same with Bo Melton here. Micah Parsons being added back to the injury report is unfortunate. I know we were talking about it last week. Like, wow, he's already off the injury report with the back injury. Well, now he's back on limited. Little interesting that he was removed off the injury report as a whole and then brought back onto it rather than just remaining on it, but a full participant late last week. Something to monitor, but obviously he's not going to be held out at all in this game against his former team. I fully expect him to get even more snaps. He's gotten more and more snaps as the weeks have gone on, and I expect even more against the Dallas Cowboys, of course. And then we got Devonte Wyatt update. We saw him leave that game against the Browns. We're definitely something to worry about. He's limited today. Great to see limited for Devonte Wyatt. You know, he's a big piece on this defensive line, been having a really solid start to 2025, so really good to see him practicing here today. All right, so now we need to dive into the Dallas Cowboys injury report, a much shorter one. Before we do so, let's go over our sleeper picks for tomorrow's Thursday night football game. Guys, if you want to go check out Sleeper and make your picks for the Thursday night game or any game coming up this weekend in week 4, go check out Sleeper. Use code BASS, B-A-S, when making a first-time deposit to get that matched 100% up to $100. Here are my picks. I have Trey Benson, more than 59.5 rushing yards, with James Conner going down with injury, likely out for the year. It's going to be workhorse Trey Benson, in my opinion. This is also a multiplier boost on the more 1.95 times there. And then we also have Jackson Smith and Jigba, more than 70 receiving yards. He's really stacking success from last year, and Jigba has been a really good receiver for Seattle. I have Kyler Murray, more than 30.5 rushing yards. I believe he's hit this 3 games in a row. Then I have Marvin Harrison, more than 3.5 receptions. I feel like they weren't giving the ball enough to Marvin the past couple of weeks. I believe they stated that they want to, involve him more, so I see him getting more than 3.5 receptions. This is a $5 play to win a potential $38.25. Go check out Sleeper. Use code BASS. All right, so now back into the injury report, bringing up and looking at the Dallas Cowboys injury report. This is going to be a much quicker one to go over as there's only 5 players on here. I know a lot of us Packers fans are going to be, why are we always hurt? Why are our injury reports always a CVS receipt? I don't have the answer to that. It's just a lot of the time during the season, our injury reports are just extremely long when comparatively to the other team, it's not that long. As we see here, Deron Bland, foot injury, limited. Tyler Booker, ankle injury, did not participate. I believe I saw Schottenheimer, the Cowboys coach, say, we can still beat the Packers without Booker and CeeDee Lamb. Don't know why he would say that. That just seems like something that, you probably shouldn't say as a head coach going into a game. Obviously, being confident in your players is good. But Tyler Booker seems like he might not be able to play in this game. Bridges, a depth cornerback, knee injury limited. Trayvon Diggs, knee injury, did not participate. And CeeDee Lamb, ankle injury, did not participate. CeeDee Lamb will not be playing in this game. That's the early reports that he'll miss at least 2 weeks. Then they'll reevaluate. He's not going on IR, but he's definitely going to miss this game against the Green Bay Packers. But they also have, although it's not a long list, you could argue that they have just as important players on their injury report. 2 starting cornerbacks, their star wide receiver, a starting rookie offensive lineman, all on the injury report, 3 of which did not participate. So that does it for the first injury report of week 4, Packers versus Cowboys Sunday Night Football. Really hoping this can be a strong bounce back game for the Packers offense. And I think it's a perfect opponent and opportunity for that because the Dallas, like I mentioned earlier, the Dallas defense has been pretty poor throughout 2025 thus far. We saw what the Chicago Bears just did against them last week. It's no Cleveland Browns defense, and their offense has been, okay, manageable, but now they'll be without CeeDee Lamb, so that's a very important piece for their offense. Really hoping for a strong, confident, bounce-back game here for the Packers, and then they can head into their bye, try to get a little bit healthy, and then take on the Bengals there in week 6. But I really appreciate you guys coming by to the channel. Leave a like down below if you did enjoy the video. By the time this uploads, I'll likely be live on Roundtable NFC North roundtable to discuss this prior week, as much as I don't want to talk about that ugly Browns-Packers game. But if you want to go check that out, just search up NFC North roundtable. But I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Pack Go.